Hello, what's up? I hope that you're having a great day. Whenever you might be watching this, I have a super cool lesson that we are going to do today. And that lesson is, ta-da! I want to talk to you about some confusing words for English learners, but I'd say that they're not just confusing for English learners. It can also be confusing for native speakers. The one thing I like about this lesson is that when I was putting it together, I was actually learning some new things. And that's the great thing about English is, no matter whether you're a native speaker or a language learner or however long you've been studying English or even teaching English, you're always learning new things. So I want to talk about a few things that can be a bit confusing for learners. So we're going to go over those today, and at the end, we are going to practice what we've learned. So if you're joining us, thanks for joining us. Say what's up in the chat and let me know where you're joining us from. Who do we have from India? Sumika, Balaj from India also. Ada Kyrgyzstan, Amano. Hey, what's up? Thank you guys for joining me. Yasmin, Hania. Awesome. Great to have you guys here. Again, very special lesson. We're going to talk about some things that confuse English learners. And I am going to ask for your participation. I want you guys to write a lot in the comments, and also, even if you're watching this later, write to us in the comments, participate. We really want to involve you in these lessons. So let's begin with talking about, why do some words end up confusing English learners? Why are these words confusing to begin with? Well, there can be many different reasons for that. I've just written down 3 of them. The first one I have is some grammar rules. Maybe there's just a subtle grammar rule that people tend to confuse and mix up. And again, this is where you practice. You're always improving, and your fluency will then improve. So it could be grammar rules. The next one that I have are different words with similar meaning. So you might have 2 different words that have different meanings, but the meanings are very close to each other. They're very similar, and because they're so similar, people might tend to confuse them. Now, if you have joined us, if you are with us right now, I want you to write, hey, what's up, Carlos? Sorry, I mispronounced names. Adesuk from Thailand, great to have you here. In the chat, I want you to write down, what are some English words that confuse you? It could be 2 words, or maybe if there's just 1 word that confuses you. I want you to share with everybody, share with us. It's a great way to, again, understand where each other's coming from. So write down, what are some words that confuse you? The last one that I wrote down, a common reason why some words confuse learners is right there, homonyms. Now, a broad definition of homonyms are words that either have the same spelling or different spelling, that have the same spelling but same pronunciation, but they have different meanings. They have words with multiple meanings, or it could be words that have the same pronunciation, different spelling, multiple meanings. That's a very broad definition of homonyms. I put that little graph down there for you because there are certain layers to it. And if you really want to get specific and learn the difference between, a homonym or a heteronym or a heterograph, you can study that a little later. But these are reasons why some words might confuse people, all right? So we got some good ones. Oh, excellent. Lay, lie, tell, say, effect. Yes, these are all differences. So this is good because I have some of these words today. Let's begin. Let the games begin. So The first one, because we talked about some grammar rules, all right, so let's look at a little small grammar nuance. And this one I don't think is as bad because there is a rule to it. A versus an, okay? A versus an, these are both indefinite articles that introduce a noun phrase. So when you think of articles, people will think of a, an, or the. I'm just talking about the indefinite ones, a or an. Now, when we learn these, people will, some people might say like, oh, pay attention to the letter, the first letter of the word that comes before the article. And that can confuse people because it's not the first letter that determines whether you use a or an. It's the first sound. So we use a is used with words that start with a consonant sound right there. All right. A kangaroo, a banana, a house, a university. All right. Now you notice that university starts with the letter U, but we use a because of the first sound, U. It has that Y sound, so we say a university, all right? So again, you need to pay attention to that first sound. For an, all right, we use that with words that start with a vowel sound, okay? Words that start with a vowel sound, like those examples I have, an answer. An old car, all right? It comes before, well, the adjective old. An hour, all right? Again, the word starts, hour, begins with the letter H, but there is no H sound, all right? Hour. It's also, it sounds like O-U-R. Again, it has that short O sound, so we're going to use an hour, all right? Same with MP3, all right? So for anybody who's downloaded music, you know that those are MP3 files. Now, we say the letter M, all right? And when we say it, M, it starts with that short E sound, M, and MP3, all right? An hour and MP3. And I think it's when you hit those words where it goes against what you want to think, and people might make those mistakes, and they might say MP3, and no, it's an MP3. So those are some of the differences between a and an. Now, speaking of MP3s, all right, this is the next part that I want to talk to you about. Abbreviations and acronyms, okay? So in the chat, what I want you guys to do is, because I think all of us, we have cell phones and we use shorthand, I want you to write your favorite texting or SMS acronym that you like to use, OMG, BTW. Write it in the chat. Let me know what is your favorite acronym to use. Now, this is something that I learned today, and this is where you get really nitpicky as to what the meaning is. And again, some of these rules, you don't have to follow it strictly. It's up to you. So let's look at the meaning of these words. So an abbreviation is just a shortened form of a word. It's an abbreviation. An acronym, think of an acronym is a type of an abbreviation. So it is kind of a subcategory of an abbreviation. So for an abbreviation, I think many of us are familiar with like doctor, all right? It gets shortened to the DR, or Dr. So-and-so. Same with saint. Before like a cathedral, St. James, all right? You see that ST, that becomes an abbreviation. Now, you're probably looking at FBI and LOL thinking, well, wait a second, those are acronyms. And again, this is where it gets nitpicky. If you refer to them as acronyms, I would refer to them as acronyms. That's fine. I don't think anybody's going to challenge you on it. But the difference is that when you shorten some words and you take that first letter, FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation. LOL, laugh out loud. When you actually say the letters, it's technically an abbreviation, all right? An acronym is an abbreviation that's formed by the initial letters of words, but it's pronounced as one word. That's a subtle difference between an abbreviation and an acronym. So FBI, we actually say the letters, so it's an abbreviation. LOL, same thing. But an acronym like NASA, all right? For those of you unfamiliar with NASA, it stands for, National Astrological Space Association. It is an organization, part of the government of the United States, and we just call it NASA, all right, for space. YOLO, okay, that's another texting acronym. You only live once. But we don't say YOLO, all right? We say it as one word, YOLO, all right? So those are, technically speaking, those are acronyms when we say it as one word. Same with NATO, the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, AWOL, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's kind of a military term. It means, what does it mean? Absent without official leave. It's a military term that somebody basically, they didn't get permission, they left. They went AWOL. So those are acronyms when we say them as one word. Get some good ones in there. LOL, all right, favorite is OMG. Yes, we use it. Carlos, WTF. Yes, that is a very popular and effective acronym to use. But again, technically, those aren't acronyms. They would be abbreviations. But I don't think anybody is going to, again, this is not, nobody's going to challenge you on it. This is something that just for you guys to know. Fun facts. I learned this new today. Otto said, RIP, all right? Rest in peace, all right? That would be, an acronym. People say RIP, rest in peace. So those are abbreviations and acronyms. Next, somebody had mentioned this before, the difference between affect and effect. Okay, so the pronunciation is very similar. I'd say the big difference, and this goes back to grammar mostly, is that affect is going to be a verb and effect is the noun. The pronunciation is very similar. Affect, the verb, has that schwa at the beginning, that sound, affect. And effect, the noun, it's more of a shortened E, but it's very slight, effect. Often, I think I'm guilty of this. I'll kind of just pronounce them very much the same, mostly with that schwa, and instead of effect, I might say affect. So that's another reason I think it can be confusing, is because of the pronunciation. But in order to really know the difference and learn the difference, realize that affect is a verb and effect with an E, that is a noun. So again, write to me in the chat or the comments, even if you're watching this later. Tell me something. What is something that affects your mood? I'm using it as a verb there because affect, as a verb, it means to influence something. What is something that affects your mood? I want you to write a sentence using affect as the verb, okay? What's something that affects your mood? I gave you an example sentence right there. The bad weather affected our travel plans, all right? It affected our travel plans. It influenced those plans. Now, effect, the noun, the meaning is a little similar, but it's mostly, if you want to get precise, it's talking about an impact or a change, all right? Something has an effect, all right? The hurricane had a devastating effect on the area, all right? It had a huge impact or change. It had an effect. So, we got a good, excellent sentence. Politicians affect my mood in a bad way. Laura, I completely agree with you. Yes, they definitely affect everybody's mood. Again, hi, Barbara, Sebas. If you're just joining us, we are talking about confusing words in English, and I have 10 of them for you. And then at the end, we're going to practice. So if you're just joining us, again, say what's up in the chat, and let's continue. Oh, This is another one. Speaking of politicians, okay, this is a topic that's come up a lot lately, and it's frustrating to me. So these are two words, to emigrate and to immigrate. And there is a difference between them. So they're both verbs, and to emigrate is when you're leaving one country in order to live in another. Now, the difference, I think part of a big difference when you think of when you're emigrating to somewhere else, it does have a more legal context to it, that you have permission for work, or maybe your spouse, your husband and wife is from that country, and you have all your documents and papers in order, and you emigrate to another country and you plan to live there. So, like, for example, I have that sentence, they emigrated from Brazil to France. All right. This is a little different than immigrate, which is also can be used as a verb. As a noun, we talk about immigration, but it's entering a new country to live there. And sometimes when people immigrate to a new country, they may not be doing it legally. They may be going there and living there and working. And we would say they immigrate to. So they immigrated to Brazil from France. All right. The key here, when you're talking about a difference between these two, is the preposition that follows. So you emigrate from somewhere. You are leaving this place and going somewhere else. You emigrate from somewhere, and you immigrate to somewhere. So in those sentences, like I have, they emigrated from Brazil. All right. They left Brazil. And the other one, they immigrated to Brazil. All right. That's where they were going. And this is where I think, not to get all political, it's been a very big topic of conversation, immigration, I know in Europe and in the United States. And I think one thing that gets challenging when you talk about the person, which we would refer to somebody as an immigrant, whether you emigrated or immigrated, you're still often referred to as an immigrant, which is just a person who is from another country and they are living in, this country. And it gets muddled and confused, and people do a very big disservice to the conversation about what's going on. One of them being the president of the country I'm from, who is an absolute moron. But anyway, I don't want to turn this into a political discussion. Let's move on to the next one. So next, we have these right here. Okay, let's talk about this. Everyday versus everyday, all right? People might think it's the same word, and this is where I think it's mostly in writing, because when you're speaking, I don't think it's as much of an issue, but when you're writing, people will tend to confuse these two. Now, everyday, two words, is an adverb phrase, okay? That means how often you do something. A lot of times it answers the question, how often, all right? So in the comments, in the chat, I want you to write, okay, tell me something. What is something that you do every day? All right, write your answer, because again, this is good. You're practicing writing, and I'm asking for the two word, every day. All right, what is something you do every day? So, for example, I could say, I exercise every day. Is it true? No. I do wish it were true, though. I want to exercise every day, but unfortunately, I do not. But it is something, it's talking about how often something happens. I exercise every day. Now, every day, one word, that is an adjective, and it's talking about something that is part of a daily routine. So for example, my sentence right down there, jumping jacks are part of my everyday exercises. It's part of my everyday exercises. It's an adjective, and it's modifying exercises. It's talking about which type of exercises. Now, in case you're wondering, that picture right there, that is not a picture of somebody doing jumping jacks. It's just a funny little picture I saw. However, we did do a video on workout vocabulary where we talk about jumping jacks. So if you're not sure what those are, I highly suggest you check out that lesson. It was a great lesson. We had a lot of fun. So let's see. Everybody, did some practice. All right, I practice English lessons every day. Remember, it's two words every day. I practice learning English every day. Excellent. I try to learn English every day. Perfect. All right. I study every day. So when you're talking about something you do every day, two words. Okay. That's what we're using. So let's continue. Again, if you're joining us, we are talking today about confusing words, confusing English words. Okay. The next one, this would be another homonym, complement and complement. Okay, they sound exactly the same. They're spelled differently and they have different meanings. So a complement with an I, all right, it can be a noun or a verb, but those are just nice words or gestures. If I do like, okay, that, is gesture, good job, that's a compliment. So right now in the chat, because again, this is, it's always good to be positive on the internet. There's so many bad things out there. I want you to give everyone a compliment, okay? Some nice words. Say some nice words about everybody who's joining us today. Practice using it. Say a compliment. And my compliment to all of you is you guys are awesome. All right? You're awesome. You guys are doing really well. You're hanging out, so it's great. That is my compliment to you. You're awesome. All right? That is a compliment. Those are nice words. Now, compliment with an E, all right? It can also be a noun or a verb, but that means that you are adding something to enhance something else. You're adding something to make something else better. So I'm American. Yes, stereotypically we eat hot dogs. So I could say that, and this is true, I believe, spicy mustard really complements the hot dog, all right? So if I have a hot dog, I'm going to use spicy mustard because I think it complements the taste. It makes it better, all right? It improves, it enhances something. So that is complement with an E. Don't confuse those. All right. Some other examples. Oh, I sing in the shower every day. Excellent use every day. 2 words. Perfect. So again, in the chat, throw out a compliment. Oh, you are a great teacher. Thank you. Thank you, Sebas. That is an excellent compliment. I really appreciate that. The next 2 words that can confuse people are these 2. We have exacerbate and exaggerate. So these, especially exacerbate, it's not I'd say it's commonly used, but it's good maybe for a more academic sense and being more precise with your descriptions. I always think it's good to build your vocabulary. So these are 2 words that can confuse people, mostly because, well, the spelling is a little similar, and same with the pronunciation. So we have exacerbate, which is a verb, and that means to make a situation worse. And I just noticed that I misspelled situation. So that's fine. I'm telling you, it's to make a situation worse. All right. So for example, you could say that my sentence there, the rainy weather exacerbated the playing conditions. So maybe you're playing, I don't know, football, and you're playing on a field. The grass is all torn up. The field is in bad condition. And before you start to play, it starts raining. So it makes it muddy. It makes it worse. All right. It exacerbated the playing conditions. It made things worse. That is very different than exaggerate, which is, again, I noticed another mistake. It's a verb. It's not a noun. Okay. So just ignore that right there. Exaggerate, to exaggerate, is a verb, and it means to stretch the truth. All right. He always exaggerates when telling stories. Now, I put that fish there because it's like a common joke when you're talking about somebody exaggerating something when they go fishing and they say, wait a second. Okay, I caught a fish this big when the fish was really that big, all right? People tend to exaggerate the truth because, well, a lot of times people say that it's more interesting, all right? So for another comment, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you guys for a cornucopia of knowledge. Excellent. That was a word from a few weeks ago. Thank you, Lata. So yes, those are great, great compliments. We appreciate it very much. It's always good to give people compliments. And I'll say that is your homework assignment for today. When you are done, I want you to give somebody a compliment. Say something. They have a nice smile. They do a really good job. Thanks for your help. All right. Give a compliment. That's your homework assignment for today. So that is the difference between exacerbate and exaggerate. Let's look at this one. This is an easy one, I think. Okay. It is easier. Criminal and thief. Okay. This can be confused though, because a lot of times people think they're synonyms and they're not necessarily synonyms. All right. Again, think of it as you have a criminal, which is a broad word. A thief is a type of criminal. Okay. So a criminal it's a noun, it's a person, it's somebody who breaks the law. All right. So in the chat, give me what are some examples of criminals? Give me some types of criminals. All right. What could we say? Make it more specific. So a criminal is just in general somebody who breaks the law. For example, I'd say the criminal ran from the police. We know that they broke the law, but we don't know exactly what they did. Why are they running? We don't know. Now, a thief is also a noun because it's a person and it's someone who takes or steals something. So if I say the thief ran from the police, then I know, okay, they're running from the police because they stole something. All right. That is the difference between criminal and thief. They are not synonyms. All right. Remember that. You'd say drug dealers. Yes. Drug dealers. That is a criminal. That is a type of criminal. Perfect. Charles Manson. Yes, he was a criminal. Perfect. Good example. Let's look at the next one. Okay. So this is another one that I think, people commonly confuse. Even, native speakers, they commonly confuse these. The difference between farther and further. Okay, so both of them are adverbs, but when we're talking about farther with an A, we're talking about a physical distance, a real physical distance that, we can think about, whether it's 1 kilometer or 50 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers. Okay, it is a physical distance, farther. So for example, I could say, now we live farther away from the airport. Maybe you moved apartments or you moved homes and you are now farther away from the airport. It is a physical distance. That is different than further, because when you're talking about further, technically it's to a greater distance or degree, but you can also think of it like a figurative distance, all right? Not something that, you can say how many kilometers it is. So for example, if this is a common sentence that you might hear when you're talking about something and somebody says, well, it's the furthest thing from my mind, all right? I'm not thinking about this thing. I have a lot of other things I'm thinking about, more other priorities, and something is the furthest thing from your mind. I don't know actually the distance about how far it is. It's a figurative way of talking about distance, all right? It is, something is further from your mind. So example, like, maybe you could say another example, like your skills go, maybe you're a talented athlete, all right? You're a good athlete, but you're also a good singer. And you could say, your skills go further than the basketball court, all right? Your skills go further, they go beyond that. It is a figurative distance. Now, one reason why these get confused regularly, and this was according to the Cambridge dictionary, is that when you're using it as a comparative and superlative. So for example, for farther, you would say farther than or further than. It is common to use further for both of them. All right, that is a common usage for both. And that is one reason I think that it can be very confusing, because people will use farther in a comparative sense, but they're talking about further. All right, so maybe they say like, oh, the road is blocked. We can't go further. That might be a common thing, but instead of saying farther, because you are talking about in this, we can't go farther, we can't go a physical distance. Many times in a comparative or superlative sense, when you are making these comparisons, people tend a lot of times to use further. So that's just, food for thought, something that you guys should know. The next one, we got one more, and then we're going to practice. All right, so get ready to type in the chat. This one, somebody had mentioned this at the beginning, and this lay versus lie, it is confused all the time. It doesn't matter whether you are learning English or whether you're a native speaker. I am guilty of this as well, and you use these interchangeably. And I don't think, again, people, nobody's going to call you out on it, really. I think everybody's going to understand what you're trying to say, as long as you're, speaking, using it grammatically correct. I would actually say sometimes if you use it correct, and I'll give you an example in a minute, people might do a little like strange, like, what are you talking about? Because of the way we use it today and how it's spoken mostly. So lay, both of these are verbs, lay and lie. Now, lay is a verb, and it means to put or place. Okay, so another way to think about this is that it is a transitive verb. It's often followed by a direct object. Okay, so you lay something somewhere. All right, you lay something somewhere. You're putting it in a certain place. So, for example, I gave these examples in the past tense. I laid the cup on the table. Okay, I laid the cup on the table. I also gave you the conjugation of this. So for the verb lay, you have lay, laying, I am laying, or laid and laid, okay? So laid is the past tense, laid would be the past participle, all right? I have laid the cup on the table, okay? So that is for lay. It is putting or placing something. And remember, it's transitive, so it's going to be with a direct object. Now, lie, okay, is to rest or recline, all right? And the reason it's confusing, I think one of the reasons is because, again, I put these sentences in the past tense. Yesterday, I lay in bed all day. Now, you might be looking at that and being like, wait, what the heck? All right, we're talking about lie here, not lay. And that is the issue, is that the past tense of lie is lay. Okay, so you can see down there the conjugation, lie, I lie in bed, I am lying in bed, yesterday I lay in bed, and the past participle, which I don't think, this is where I said if you use it correctly, people might be like, what? I don't think many people use this at all. Yesterday, or not yesterday, or like, I have lain in bed, all right? That is not common at all. What is common, however, when you conjugate this is the other meaning of lie. Now, lie is, it's a homonym. It has multiple meanings. It means to rest or recline, or it means to say something that's not true, all right? So for example, say, he lied to me. Somebody lied. They say something that's not true, all right? You guys are using them. Okay, some great, yeah. I lied yesterday after, well, again, lying is curse, yes, all right. So what I wanted to show you here when I'm talking about saying something that's not true, the conjugation lie, I lied to somebody, I am lying to somebody, I lied in the past tense, and I have lied to somebody. Okay, that is the conjugation. Now, what's very common is that for the verb lie, to rest or recline, people will use the conjugation for the other meaning, all right? So you might hear, instead of somebody say, like, yesterday I lay in bed all day, you might hear somebody say, yesterday I lied in bed all day, okay? They use that other conjugation, and that is, I don't want to say if it's becoming accepted or not. Obviously, that is debatable, but it is something that people end up using, and especially when they're talking about the present perfect and they're using that past participle, most people will say, I've lied in bed all day. I have lied here all day. They don't really use lain, okay? So that's why I put that other meaning up there. And again, this is something I just wanted to go over with you. As I said, people misuse this all the time. So it's good to practice this and to understand and study the differences. But if you misuse these, then, don't stress out about it, okay? So some examples, yes, while lying in bed, I laid a book on the pillow. Okay, excellent. Good, great example sentence, all right? I don't know why you put a book on the pillow, but I guess so. As somebody says, oh yeah, I'm lying, yes, okay, perfect, all right? Those are good. Lying is a curse, yes, lying is bad. So these are, good. It's good to know the differences between these. Now, I hope you're ready, because I want to practice what we've learned today. So I'm going to give you some questions, and I want you to write the answers in the chat, all right? Even if you're watching this later, a year from now, it doesn't matter. Practice, writing with us. Use the comments section. Write your answers in the comments. Okay, you ready? So let's practice. This is your first question, all right? It's truly honor to meet you, okay? This was the first one we went over. What are we going to use? Which article? A or N? All right, it's truly honor to meet you. I want you to write your answers in the chat. What do you guys think? All right, we're talking about the difference between a and an, okay? I'll give you a hint, all right? Remember, keep in mind, what the one thing that is important is the first sound that you hear, all right? It's truly honor to meet you, okay? What do you guys think? A or N? All right, getting some mixed result. All right, in this case, honor, all right, is the key word. What's the first sound you hear? Honor, all right? There is no H sound. You're not hearing a honor, all right? Honor, it's that short O sound, so we would say it's truly an honor to meet you, okay? It's truly an honor to meet you. Excellent. Let's do another one. Ready? Let's see if you guys write your answers in the chat or in the comments, okay? What do you think? The exam had a profound on my grade. Which one are we going to use? Affect or effect? All right, it sounds similar. I'm having a tough time pronouncing them differently now. So, the exam had a profound effect or effect on my grade. Which one are we going to use? Affect or effect? Which one do you think? Okay, write your answers in the chat. Okay, so getting some good answers. Yes, we're talking about, in this case, a noun, and the noun that we should use is effect. All right, the exam had a profound effect on my grade. All right, excellent, good job. Next one. All right, give this one a try. Let's see. Here we go. And I want you to tell me, let me shorten this. There we go. Which one is it? Is it a compliment or a compliment? Again, the pronunciation is the same. If I were to say, you're such a beautiful person, all right? You're such a beautiful person. Which compliment am I talking about? Which one? I want you to write your answer in the chat. Again, this is a word. These two words are confused a lot, all right? Which one am I talking about if I tell you you're such a beautiful person, all right? And it's true. I think you guys are beautiful people and giving some good answers, excellent, and it's true, all right? If I tell you you're such a beautiful person, that means that is a compliment with the I, all right? Compliment with an I, because compliment with an E means you're adding to something, you're trying to enhance it, make it better. Okay, here's another one. Let's see if you can answer this one. All right. So you can see it. All right. We from Russia to Jamaica. Okay. Not sure if there's anybody out there who's actually done this. We from Russia to Jamaica. Are you going to use emigrated or immigrated? Which one do you think? All right. Write your answer in the chat or in the comments. Participate with us. Okay. We from Russia to Jamaica. Russia, maybe it's very cold, so this person wanted nicer weather, and they went to Jamaica, all right? The key here, as I was talking about before, is keep an eye on that preposition, from, all right? So because we're talking about from, we would say we emigrated from Russia to Jamaica, all right? You emigrate from somewhere, you immigrate to somewhere, all right? That is one little difference between those confusing words. All right, here's another one. Okay. Boom. Try this one, all right? If you're not feeling well, you should go in bed. Which one do you think? All right, lay or lie? And again, with this one, you might hear somebody use either one, okay? And that's just the way it is. People interchange these two a lot. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, that you should, but it's just something that happens, okay? What do you think? If you're not feeling well, you should go in bed. All right. So I think one reason that this can be confusing, yes, all right, you guys rock, all right? Give them some good answers. If you're not feeling well, you should go lie in bed. Remember, lie is talking about you should go rest, you should go recline and relax, and you can substitute that in. If you're not feeling well, you should go rest in bed, all right? Lay is to place something. Remember, it's a transitive verb, so it's followed by a direct object, okay? In is not a direct object, it's a preposition, okay? So in bed would be a prepositional phrase. So you should go lie in bed, all right? So that is our practice. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope that maybe if you thought some of these words were confusing before, maybe they are less confusing now. But as always, it's good to practice these things and to learn more about it. I know I learned a lot in doing this lesson, some of the differences between these words. So it's always great to learn more. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember, please, if you had a good time, like this video and also share it with other people you know trying to practice and improve their skills. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Lata, Francisco, Hania, thank you guys. Patricia, Laura, glad you guys were here. Blue, Thank you guys for joining us. Again, as always, you can find us down here. Join our social media classes, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. Okay, I'm done advertising us for right now. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.